Hi everyone. Today we are going to discuss how to write an IELTS Task 1. So in this video I'm going to specifically cover the writing task 1 for the academic module, which is the report writing task. So let's get started. So first of all, some general instructions that in the writing module you are given 60 minutes, and in these 60 minutes you have to complete two tasks which are present. So your task 1 is a report writing or letter writing depending on the type of examination you're going for, and your task 2 is an essay writing question. So, as I mentioned, in the academic examination, your task 1 is a report, and in your general training exam, your task 1 is a letter writing question. Now, how should you divide your time? Now, that's a task because you are going to be given a single timer of 60 minutes and you have to divide your time accordingly. So, there won't be any separate timer for task 1 or task 2. Now, what my suggestion would be that you should spend 20 minutes on the task 1 and 40 minutes on the task 2. Why? Because in your task 1 you have to write at least 150 words, whereas in your task 2 you have to write at least 250 words. So genuinely your task 2 is going to take you a bit longer and you have to brainstorm some ideas over there. Whereas in task 1 you just have to take up the information from the visual input and craft a summary. So you should try to complete your report writing within 20 minutes. So, what is included in the IELTS task 1? So, we can divide it into two parts. The first one is a visual input, and the second part is an instruction. Now, the instruction is basically make comparisons wherever relevant or highlight the main features of the given chart or given diagram. And a visual input can be of different types. We are going to discuss that as well. Now, what do you need to take care of, especially in the task 1? So, first of all, make sure that you write at least 150 words. If you write less than 150 words, there is going to be a deduction in your band score. Then make sure that you formulate your answer in different paragraphs. Do not write a big paragraph or a big summary of 150 words. That's not going to get you the desired band score because it will lead to deduction because of the structure. Third and most importantly, do not add your opinion or any other information which is not present in the question. In task 1, we don't have to give our take or what we think about the question. You just have to understand the information from the question and use it or include it in your summary. Let's move ahead. So, the step 1 to write your IELTS task 1 answer is to identify your question. Now, your task 1 can be of the following types. It can be a line graph, bar graph, pie chart, table, map or diagram, or a combination chart. I'll quickly explain you all of these. So a line graph is basically where your trends are portrayed with the help of a line, whereas a bar chart includes different bars which portray the values or how the values are increasing or decreasing. A pie chart, on the other hand, is a circular diagram which includes different sectors in which the chart is divided. Then we have a table which has rows and columns and it contains your information right there. Now, map is basically a layout which is given to you. It's of two types. The first one can be a layout of past, or the second one can be layout of future or present, and you have to compare and demonstrate the changes that happened. Whereas a diagram can be a process or a cycle which is given to you, and you have to break it up into steps and define or describe that particular process. Now, a combination chart basically means that any of the two visual inputs can be combined within the same frame or given to you separately. But in simpler terms, a combination chart is basically where two of your visual inputs are present. Okay. Now, this is step 1. The next step is to analyze the question. So you need to understand that what exactly is present in this visual input. and spend the first 3 to 5 minutes to do this. So observe the following things in your question. First of all, what is being compared? That's the most important thing, because that's going to help you to introduce your visual input as well. Find out what is being compared, then over what time. If a time element is given to you, find out what is the time element, what is the gap between each of the years which are mentioned. Are there two or more categories? Now, generally, when we make comparisons, there must be different categories. Try to jot that down as well. Then, how are the values measured? Are the values in rupees, million, billion, percentage? Note it down. And how are the changes shown? In case of a map or diagram, there can be different ways in which the changes are shown. It might be with the help of different symbols, different arrows, different colors, and so on. Now, why do you need to do this? First of all, it will help you to identify the major trends which are happening in the visual input. If you do not spend the first few minutes analyzing the question, you are going to brainstorm or you're going to move back and forth while you write. So, spend the initial minutes to get a hold of the question. You can organize your overview, so you can organize how you're going to lay out the points, or maybe you can notice an important comparison which you can later on include in your answer. Then it helps you understand the question better. Genuinely, when you focus on the question, you give it some time, you get a better understanding. Now, step 3 is start writing. So, here I have a sample format which you can use. So, start writing your report in the following format and spend only 10 to 12 minutes to write your report. So, first of all, we have paragraph number 1. It's basically introduction, and you have to introduce the visual input over here. Now, all the points which we discussed here, these are exactly the points which you have to mention in paragraph number 1. Just keep it short and introduce the visual input. Then in paragraph 2, we want the reader to understand that what's going on in this visual input. What's the main feature, or what's the highlight? So, highlight the major trends or the striking features. Think about it like a cricket match. If someone does not want to see the entire cricket match, what will they do? They will watch the highlights. So, here you're just going to highlight what happened or what was the major thing about this visual input. Then we have paragraph 3 and 4, where you are going to give in the details. So now you're going to bring in your values, the tiny details, the time element, the statistical figure, the numerical. So here you are going to divide. Let's say that it's a pie chart and you have 4 sectors which are being compared. Now, we cannot write all of the information in one paragraph, correct? That's why we have paragraph 3 and 4. So, let's say that you are going to write the details of section 1 and 2 in paragraph 3, and you will write the details of you'll write the details of section 3 and 4 in paragraph 4. So you have to segregate your features, and here your paragraph 2 will help you, whichever is your highlight. So according to this example, section 1 and 2 are the highlights of this pie chart. So first of all, we described those in paragraph 3, and then we mentioned section 3 and 4 in paragraph number 4. So here for both of these you have to write 4 to 5 sentences, but the only key to writing these is make comparisons. Compare the values, any highest value, any lowest value, even a value which is similar. Highlight it. Then we have step 4. Here you have to revise your answer. So it's extremely important that in the end you revise your answer, because when you do that, you might be able to change some silly errors, some typos, some grammatical errors. So spend the last 2 to 3 minutes to do this. So what you should look out for: any spelling errors, any punctuation errors, any typos in case if you're going for a computer based exam, then incorrect sentence construction. If any of your sentences lack clarity, when you read them again, you'll get to know that there's something off with this sentence. So use this time to reframe the sentence as well. Then, incorrect statistical values. Do not change any statistical value or any particular number, time element, year in your summary. It needs to be in accordance with the question given to you. Then, unclear ideas or fragments of sentences. As I mentioned, when you're revising, revise it from a reader's perspective. That if you're the examiner or if you're the reader and you're reading this, is it bringing clarity to you? Is it on point? So make sure that you take care of this. So, some of the tips which I want all of you to take care of is that make sure that you're familiar with the assessment criteria. I will be discussing this in another video, so do look out for that. Then you divide your time wisely. Now, completing this task under 20 minutes can be both an easy task and a daunting one. It all depends on how effectively you manage your time and you divide it. Then you should include the important values and make comparisons. Sometimes what happens, we just pick up the elements and jot it down and create a summary. But if you're not making comparison, then what's the point of the report? So make sure that you're comparing some values with another. As I mentioned earlier, do not add any personal opinion or any information from your end. If the visual input says that there were 5 million sales, it means you have to write 5 million only. We cannot write 5.6, 6.5, not at all. So do not change any information. Okay, so that's basically what we did today. I hope it was helpful. Bye bye.